We've been diverted on... I lost my train of thought. I don't do that very often. It's been a long day. There's another primary diversion we've had, and I've lost what it is. We keep getting our focus shifted. If they can just keep us over there, oh, open carry, open carry. You know, freedom is private property ownership and gun ownership, but if they can keep us distracted about open carry and fighting over that, we don't have weapons to protect ourselves. Those are diversions, and what happened today is an attempt to divert all of Texas. If we can get you off of that, well, let me tell you, y'all are a smart group. We've raised $40,000, I'm told, today. The media didn't pick up and report a whole lot. Gotta love the Austin American-Statesman. They came out with a story after the last reporting period. Mark had to do an ethics report that ran from January 1st. Was it the 21st or 22nd, Mark? 21st. 3-week period in January. You contributed, we had in this campaign 3 times more contributors than Kay Bailey or Rick Perry had. 3 times more. Donors, 3 times more voters. That wins races. That's right. That wins races. It is everyday, ordinary Texans. In that same reporting period, your campaign raised $63,000 from small dollar donors. Kay and Rick raised $16,000. So, nearly 4 times more money raised from small dollar donors, 3 times more supporters. We're winning this race. Expect the attacks to come. Be prudent, be discerning, know that politics makes for strange bedfellows. We've seen some of those, haven't we? Some strange bedfellows, people aligning themselves, and we're thinking, how did that relationship come about? I am who I profess to be. I'm as transparent, as honest as I know how to be. I'm as forthright as I know how to be. I am committed to leading Texas back to a constitutional republic. That's where we're going. So when I took on this task, not just to run a strong, winning gubernatorial race, but also to prepare to govern Texas, I knew that we had been working towards smaller government in Washington, D.C. my whole life. I voted for the first time in November of 1980 for President Ronald Reagan. We were going to get rid of the Department of Education, and we were going to get rid of the National Endowment of the Arts, remember? And they're bigger today than they were then. And I thought, Renee, I think, said, keep doing what you've been doing is the definition, and expecting a different outcome's definition of insanity. That's not working so well for us, trying to send more conservative people to Washington and get smaller government. We're not getting smaller government out of Washington. If I'm going to be the executive of the great state of Texas, are there things that I should be doing? Are there things that the state of Texas could be doing to protect Texans? We as individual voters have been doing all we can to influence Washington to little or no avail. They kind of do this and keep doing whatever they wanted to do. Is there something our state could do? This was in February. This was before Tea Parties. This was before 9/12. This was before a lot of the state sovereignty discussion. Is there something the state can do? And it's ironic that 9/11 comes up today, because I had been working in grassroots. Mark can testify. He and I have been working together in political activism for probably 16 or 18 years now. And we kept seeing, even at the state level, people elected that we thought were conservative, and we were getting bigger government out of Austin. And I was saying, we're not asking the right questions. I've been doing hiring and firing for 20 years. You better get pretty good at evaluating job applicants to make sure you get good people into your company and your company meets its objectives and its strategic goals. And mine was really important because it was healthcare and we were saving lives and we needed good people at the bedside to do that. We're not asking the right questions of these candidates. They've all got the buzzwords down. They know what they need to say in a campaign, and we're electing them without really knowing who they are. And maybe we're not asking the right questions. And then 9/11 hit, and I thought, man, I've seen life change on a dime. My whole professional career has been healthcare. I see lives change on a dime. You go to work this morning and everybody's fine, and this afternoon there's a car wreck or there's some other tragedy and life changes. And on 9/11 it kind of finally hit me, you know what, the life of a nation can turn on a dime as well. And maybe the question that we ought to have been asking these politicians all along, these aspiring candidates all along, is, do you know the difference between policies that protect freedom and those that destroy it? You've heard me say that. I've been saying that for a year. That came from 9/11. Do we know the difference? Because our founders said those who would sacrifice liberty for security will have neither. Right. And that was the thrust, wasn't it, boy? We all wanted to be protected after 9/11, and that's the job of government, but not at the price of freedom. Are we electing people that know the difference between those policies? Because, gosh, we've had, in my lifetime, 40 years of slipping towards less and less freedom and less prosperity. And I began, probably back then, on 9/11, to study, what is it? I didn't get to its private property ownership and gun ownership yesterday. I've been questioning for 7 years, what is, how many? 9? Is it 9? Almost 8.5 years now. What is it? And really refining that idea that, yeah, that's what it is. It is private property ownership and gun ownership that are the essential elements of freedom. We're here tonight to talk about aggressively pursuing sovereignty and what that means. And that's been the second cornerstone, if you will, of the first cornerstone of this campaign is understanding what preserves and protects freedom is private property and ownership and gun ownership. The second pillar has been state sovereignty. I believe that the U.S. Constitution is the best blueprint ever drafted for a free and prosperous society. I believe it. I don't give lip service to it. I believe it. I read a bumper sticker once that said, you know, God said it, I believe it, and you have those preachers who say it doesn't really matter whether you believe it, it's true. You know, and I don't really care whether you believe the Constitution. It's what I believe is the best blueprint ever laid, and all of my political action has been to try to get people involved in public policy debate and discussion, because freedom requires eternal vigilance. Be vigilant, watch your government, I guess today I'd have to say, and ask questions. I've been doing that for 20 years. That's not something new for me. If that's the best blueprint ever laid, then how do we expect this society to be free and prosperous and enjoy the fruits of that labor if we ignore the blueprint? We've ignored the blueprint. And I have been saying since the beginning of this campaign, since the early days of this campaign, I've been quoting Jefferson. Jefferson said, it is the unquestionable right of the states. And when I was interviewing with Ted Oberg today, I said, you know, I probably should have been saying, Jefferson might have said, it's the unquestionable duty of the states to determine when the federal government steps outside of that compact. Okay. See, it's our job. They knew it. The colonists knew it. The founders knew it. The authors of those documents, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, they knew man hungers for